All right, we're going.
All right, this is the newly named Recreation and Parks Committee. Recap is what Barb has kindly started calling it.
I like that.
It's January 23rd, 2023, 6:45 p.m. President is Council President Wolf, Councilperson McNamara, Councilperson Bruger, Mayor Southard, and myself, Councilperson Camera. All right, I don't want a long meeting tonight, so we're just going to jump into stuff. Not tons to cover. I kind of think the big topic, just because we introduced it, and then I was on vacation, and we have our third reading this weekend, is the legislation regarding the pool fees. So, anyone have any comments? Do we need to discuss this?
Was the proposed fees are they in the agenda packet?
They are.
They are.
All right, let's just look at them real quick.
I figured that's a good time to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I have.
It's not in this one.
Oh, it's not. It just talks.
Oh, if you go back to the work session ones, because that had all. I don't think our new one has all the exhibits and stuff in it, because Barb's still finishing it.
Right.
Getting all the T's and I's and whatnot. But the work session one.
All right.
Did.
Yeah. Not this one. It's this.
In the 112 meeting.
No.
Yeah, it was whatever that. It would have been 112, I believe, work
I
session.
would have read it. That was the meeting. The 12. All right.
112. Let's see what this is. Yeah, here we go. This is looking a little more complete. I just figure if we.
Nope. I'd rather discuss tonight than
Yeah.
we can just read it.
Here we go.
Okay.
So, it looks like no change in Minerva Park resident.
Correct.
Right,
Yep,
and
residents
then,
are staying the same.
right, it looks like,
Was it $5 or $10? Do you remember for non-residents?
I think we were at 11 or 12 before.
so it looks like they're $20 more than the resident rates.
Oh, for the big ones.
Yeah.
For
I think we went up 10, which brings it a total of $20 up.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't think that's terrible.
So you'll see in here it says discount for MPCA members. So I have talked to MPCA. The thought is, if you're an MPCA member, let's give you that $25 discount. We'll lock it behind their website, because you have to have a password to log into that site, and then it will take them to the discounted.
Is that in addition to early bird? Can I be an early bird member and get a double discount?
No, you can, but the early bird discount's going to be 15.
Yeah, but I could get early bird and
But they don't
You can't
stack.
double dip.
They don't
That's
stack.
what I said. Can I
Yeah, sorry. No, you can't double dip.
Alright, so my first question is, do we actually have the technical acumen to set that up?
As far as I know, I need to double check one more time with the pool company. Basically, it's just two different landing pages.
Alright,
So
yeah.
that would redirect them to a discounted spot.
Alright, so there's that question. The follow-up question would be, we are setting up a village policy where we are subsidizing or, driving membership to MPCA. Is that what we want to do?
I've always been hesitant on funding other.
I like funding. I like helping to fund the
It's not
carriage
funding
rides.
It's not
anything.
funding, but it's
Yeah.
giving a person a reason to go become an MPCA member to get a discount on the pool, right? Like,
We're at the very least advertising.
So we were, you're right. We are hitching our wagons together in a new and different way, right? I, at this second, don't necessarily see a problem with it, but in the history of the village in Minerva Park, they were definitely far more tightly aligned 10 years ago, and it was a problem.
Okay.
So, I guess it's a thing to The other thought is that once you give a discount for something like this, people will always expect a discount for something like this, which means it'll be a thing that will have to be managed and accounted for in perpetuity, right? Is that money we necessarily want to be giving away? I'm trying hard not to stake a claim one way or the other.
And I'm
But
not
all
just
your
trying to
points
point
are
it out.
very,
Yeah, no, I get.
And I'm gonna say this, if you're going, I mean, I'm gonna say this a couple ways. If we're gonna give people an early bird discount regardless, we're giving money away. So that was my okayness with the thing, because if you're gonna say, look, as long as you sign up before this date, we're gonna give you $20 off. So if you say, you know, if you're an NPCA member, I mean, yes, I see where you're going with that too, but I feel like we're already giving money away because some people will do it in early bird just for that reason. My back and forth between, are we technically okay to do this? I think the other questions, just to make sure we're on the same page, is if they do their door-to-door campaign and all of a sudden they go to somebody's house, like, I don't know when their year starts and ends. So I think that would be something that, again, if we continue to do this, make sure that we're aligning with them, because I don't want to start giving people, oh, well, I signed up for NPCA in July, I want my $20 off, or whatever. So I know that they come like in the middle of summer, I feel like, and collect my $20.
Fall, but
Fall, yeah.
Yeah.
So just making sure that we do that going forward, just so those types of things don't happen. And maybe we put in our disclosure, as long as you're a member before the start of the 2023, before May, I don't know.
before pool things go on sale.
Yeah. So again, it's just more of a cover our
I
butts,
don't know if
so
we have a way to.
Or
stop
you
that.
must be a member,
just to
when you
get the discount,
purchase.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't, if you wanna purchase if you join in the middle of summer
Right, you're-
and say, hey, I
But
paid
they're-
full price and I shouldn't have because I'm a member, you weren't a member when you bought it,
Right.
you paid full price because
Right.
you weren't a member.
Right.
Future
And we're not gonna
membership
go
doesn't
backwards.
give you the
Yeah.
discount. You have an honest face, but you can't say, I promise I'll sign up in a week, because
Right.
we don't know if you will.
They would have to sign up in advance through the site.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so then there's no discount, there's no refund.
Yeah.
the more we talk about this, the more I feel like it is
An
only
extra
going to,
layer of junk.
only going to open us up to complications and cost us money. Like, I'm not really seeing an upside for the village here, right? I'd almost rather say, you know, bump our memberships and offer something, you know, an end of the year extra Saturday for MPCA members only, or something like that, than this, because it is a. So what if I paid last year? So I was a member for 2022. And it all sounds complicated.
It's their dates are different than ours, I feel like. I don't know and this is just, I don't know how their dates run. If they were a January to January, I feel like, but I don't feel like they are. I don't know if your membership if they have an actual date or
I
when
don't know
you sign
that
up.
they know, I'm
It's-
not being.
It's been a few years since I've been that kind of involved with them.
And I don't know that they necessarily
And I-
know. They go out to drives, they do it from whenever to whenever. They've had a lot of leadership changes over the
Right.
past few years and are still in the midst of having them. And so they have gotten a little, I don't wanna say off message, or they've gotten a little scrambled. They haven't had a core group of people doing things long enough, other than for certain projects.
How much
Like-
conversation have you had with
I just
MPCA?
asked if it's possible.
Okay.
Like, we all
I
think
think-
it's a great idea. I mean, I think to support MPCA, I think in my mind is
Yeah.
a great idea, and any way that we can help support them, and we do by allowing them to use the pool, no charge, you know, whatever. And carriage rides and different things like that, and I think to help drive their membership is also a great thing, but maybe we do something else to help drive their memberships if you guys decide not to. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
So
totally.
I'm not hearing a lot of any appetite for anyone really fighting for this.
Okay.
Should we just move then?
What I would, that, but with one other asterisk, is that I think with more conversation and planning, this is great for next year,
Mhm.
right? Like,
You know, once you hammer out the logistics of it.
to know that there's not gonna be a headache for our poor pool staff and our, you know, our barb and all
I
that.
think the only way that I would, that would be a great idea is if you purchased it before, again, you have that set date, you have to purchase it by May 1st
Well,
or
you have
May
to have
15th.
it, you have to have it by whenever you buy your ticket.
Yeah,
And if you wanna skip the early bird, cause you know you're gonna get the $25 off anyway, then you skip the early bird. Now, mind you, the early bird, you know, I imagine that's good for the village, cause then you have people signing up earlier and you get a better look at your numbers earlier and whatnot.
How
And
much-
people who are on the fence don't wanna lose that $20 or whatever.
How much was the premium membership last year? Are these the same prices?
Yeah,
For residents.
yeah,
The premium membership.
yeah, we're gonna raise them.
I'll stay quiet.
I really,
Yeah.
and believe it or not, for somebody like me, it really did work out, and this
Yeah.
is
So
why.
5 guests.
I did myself and Reese, but then I could always have a random person, so
Right.
whether or not Taylor went or Tanner went or,
And even though it's 5 members, you actually get that one free. So
Yeah.
technically you have 6.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
we would bring random officers and, you know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Clark could come
Oh,
and hang out with us
I-
or whatever, so it was actually really cool.
I like the idea of the unnamed, you know,
we
have one
had
extra.
a decent amount of sales.
Yeah, I think that should be
so-
something we just have, well,
I'm
you're
not-
paying for that.
I hadn't
Yeah.
really
Oh, yeah,
looked at the numbers that closely, or if I did, I didn't
yeah, we didn't change
internalize them, that's,
And we, you know, that one and the after 5 and weekends, we probably had about an equal amount of both of them.
interesting.
See, I think that one's a really good one for
Yeah.
residents, because you do have those people that come, and we're not that busy after 5.
No.
Alright, it looks like we need to hammer out the may include some sort of concession discount in lieu of free water.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the
I don't
other
know if
thing
we
we're
put
doing.
everything in there last year, just kind of said,
I would, I mean, and I know it's like, but then why get the premium membership? It seems like the premium membership's good for that unnamed person.
yeah,
I would say no discount on, unless it's an expensive, if you're gonna give a 10% off discount, so you're gonna give me an extra $1 a day, and you better be jacking that
oh, yeah.
jacking that premium thing up by $70, because we don't wanna lose money, we want you to think you're saving money.
Yeah.
And maybe it's cause I'm
So-
gonna be a timeshare salesman when I retire, but you know, you should think you're saving money, we don't actually want you
Timeshare
to.
salesman.
So the
Nobody
concessions
does, but they
and
make money.
discount was, the thought behind that was they get basically a prepaid gift card of a certain dollar amount.
But at that point, we're just gonna charge them whatever that prepaid gift card is, more to give it to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And maybe
And
that's,
we
I
are.
mean, and there you go.
Yeah.
But
If
the
you
hope
wanna,
is that they don't actually cash in on the other things too, that's where I'm.
Yeah.
cause I would say don't give them water, don't give them a snack thing, that's, you have a premium thing, here's your bottle, and I guess that's easy, you have a cooler with water, but then we're handing out plastic single-use water bottles and we're evil, so we shouldn't be doing that.
yeah,
Well, we had the water last year, so we
Yeah, no,
were equal for the whole
water,
season.
Yeah, I
water
know.
bottles are.
You know, they're a thing that people
Yeah.
use, unfortunately.
The water cost us 11 cents a bottle, we sell it for $2 a bottle.
I'm not saying it's not profitable, I'm just saying, when Jason Momoa comes to your house and starts kicking you in the head,
When
don't
who?
pretend, Jason Momoa,
oh,
he's an
yeah.
actor,
Oh, yeah.
who's big on his hatred for single-use water.
Oh, I didn't know that, I thought you were making an Aquaman joke.
No,
I do
he's,
too.
he's from Hawaii, he can't stand plastic in the oceans.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, so, in comparison, so if it was in lieu of water bottles, I mean, what we were really saying was giving away a dime every time they took one.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, I feel like if you're giving a discount in concessions, you're gonna wind up giving away way more than,
Probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do it for- yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah. That's why I said like a preloaded card
Yeah,
with a value to it, so.
So what's the
equivalent of
number?
whatever the water was, so I think we did 10 bottles for every person. So if you did a 2 membership, it was 20 bottles, if you did a 3, it was 30. So if we sold it for $1 a bottle, I can't remember
Yeah, it was $1.
Then that's $10, $20, $30.
I mean,
I could be crazy, I could be just a total Luddite. Do we have things that we're gonna be able to keep an electronic gift card on file for people and give them the thing?
The software that we have has that ability.
Okay, and they could just say, I have like a tab, and then
They
the
would
person
get a
could say.
card.
Oh, they
They
would,
get a gift card.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Even better, that way if they lose it, then
It's
it's
their
Exactly.
fault. Okay, I didn't, once again, this is me just not understanding how fast mobile purchasing and whatnot have taken off.
Yeah, we've actually come up to like this century at the pool, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my
We're,
goodness.
you should see what else we're coming up to this century.
So,
It wasn't long
Right,
ago
so
that
from a
electronic gift
dollars
cards
and
were written out by
cents,
hand and.
No.
I don't think the markup isn't the same on other things as
No.
it is on
Right.
water.
No.
Yeah,
So we would, and you know, if we did that same conversion, so we were giving them $10,
Right.
10 retail or 10 revenue dollars worth of water away, but then if we gave them 10 revenue dollars worth of candy,
Right. It's a
we
little
just, it's different.
different. Yeah.
at the same time, they prepaid that $10. I'm fine as long as the gift card amount is how much more the membership costs.
Yeah.
Right.
Cause then we're not giving them
Oh,
anything, we're
it
just,
won't be the same amount.
we're just asking them to pay more and we'll give you a gift card for the difference.
Yeah.
Plus you get a chair, you get a
We're
chair.
dipping- We're
And we have
dipping
nice chairs
into,
now.
Yeah,
We have brand new.
yeah, the idea is we're dipping into a little bit of the extra revenue from the premium membership
Right.
Exactly.
to
yeah,
give a perceived
gotcha.
premium
Bag of
value.
chips or candy.
But it's not a whole lot, it's.
yeah, I mean, we don't want to get lost in the plot here. I mean, we're not trying to, run this as a, some massive moneymaker, in my opinion. It's,
We're gonna sell franchises next year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
We're gonna start the new Albany pools next.
And people, just so you know, that was Councilperson McNamara who doesn't think the pool should be profitable. Wants us to keep subsidizing it.
That is not.
what I want is
alright,
for
we
things
should
to be
just
people
full
first.
Who hates the idea of, who's opposed to a $10 per membership level return to premium members in the form of a gift card?
Fine with it.
Yeah,
I think that could be
I mean, it
beneficial.
was fun to debate it, but it's no
yeah,
skin on nothing.
make it so, I think
Okay.
that's easy enough, because chances are, they're just gonna spend it on the water anyways, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
Diet Mountain.
or ring pops.
Or Diet Pepsi, right? Diet Coke.
Well, those cost, that's not water, right?
Well,
That's not
it is,
11 cents a
but
bottle.
They're
we
like
are-
50 cents.
We
Yeah,
are
it
going to
is.
open up our PO. I'd actually talked to them about that the 1st of March.
Yeah.
Because we did get into we would have made a lot more money, not a lot, but
If we,
pop skyrocketed towards middle of the season, end of the
Right.
season, as people are fully aware. So when we start seeing the pop go crazy on sale, we're gonna stock
Just-
up on some
Yeah,
of,
buy it.
not just pop, but you've got the chips and things like that. Definitely around Memorial Day, they usually have a sale, but hopefully even before that, we'll be able to go stock up on some
Fortunately, we
stuff.
have numbers from last year to kind of base what we
This
should
year's.
purchase.
Right.
Yeah.
What sold, what didn't, Talkies will be one of our top things, but some things we just won't do this year.
Yeah, I
Never
don't know.
heard
Just,
of them before last pool
That's
season.
my kids
Takis,
live on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. We're,
why are they blue? That's what I wanna know.
Not all of them are.
yeah, there's
No,
like red
ours are
ones too.
regular.
Yeah, yeah, ours are regular.
Taylor gets the Fuego and those are normal.
Yeah.
So that was the top one. So we learned what sold, what didn't sell, and so we should be able to start off with things like that.
Alright,
Costco.
so we got that
Yep,
part hammered
okay,
out.
so day passes up to $12 from $10. That also came recommended from John. He said, I think it's time, we've left it that for a long time.
Yeah.
And then holiday passes from 12 to 15. That seemed to work well last year.
Yeah, he didn't have any
Yeah.
issues.
Yep. Pool rental, the one thing, this is not in here, but one of the things I asked to be brought up at the last council meeting, so hopefully it was that pool rental, if there was a pool rental that was during pool hours,
Mhm.
that had to be done before we started selling pool memberships on March
So if we're gonna
1st.
close the
that
pool
was
for my
wrong.
wedding,
That
and-
was-
yes, I told
yeah.
you.
So I don't know if we need to change this in here to say that, but,
Well, I don't know that needs to be in this,
okay.
but I think that in whatever marketing we do.
I don't know where else we'd put it and
On
have
the
it.
flyer would be the
And,
only
well,
place.
but I mean, isn't it something we want
I would
voted
say,
on and approved, so it's
Right.
not a flyer said it or John said it, say, no, when we put the pool structure out, This was the rule.
If we did it, we could do, 2023 additional update is if you have a desire to rent the pool for the entire day or a partial day during pool hours.
Yeah.
It must be booked at least, before May 1st, or whatever, March 1st. And deposited or however you guys decide to do it. I don't know if you guys wanna set a number, if it's just the normal, cause that's all I did is the regular pool rental. Do we wanna charge more for a day that we're closed? Do we wanna leave it alone? I mean, this is council's chance now to say.
This is the place to fix it,
This is the
right?
big one.
Because-
Yeah, this is the big
Yeah.
one because we made like 8 people mad,
Right,
maybe 12.
so let's put something in writing that says
The
this is.
fear, in fairness, without being a smart aleck, that I'm being right now, in fairness, there has been concern, and not just myself, but that people will try to do it next year to prove a point.
Right.
So if you guys want to protect, and that way it doesn't just, and I don't mind if it falls on me, but that's why.
Let's propose a different solution.
Okay,
We won't close the pool for anybody.
that's fine.
If you wanna rent it during business hours, you rent it with knowing that you are limited to X many guests and you will have the public there.
So,
That's your guys' choice, yeah, I don't.
I'm not opposed to that at all. I wanna
Don't
ask
close down
about
Chuck E. Cheese's for
MPCA though.
birthdays.
Because we are shutting it down for
Because
that.
They have asked to extend Pride till 2:00, which means
It'll be closed half a day on a Saturday.
So why are we
And
closing
then-
it for that? Why would we limit it?
that's.
Oh, because they don't
that
want
was their
people to-
request, yeah. And then Family Fun Night, they wanted to start earlier.
Last year, I think we started, it used to be 6, then we moved it back to 5, and I think they're wanting 4 this year.
So I just
Yeah,
wanna,
I would, okay, so I would, again,
Neither of those are actually renting the pool because they are not paying for it.
Correct, and we are
So-
gonna have them start filling out forms when they do this.
Yes.
And it will say no charge on it, but we are gonna have them actually,
yeah, so
Then-
we would fill out the same
then for-
rental form.
For those, those we can call out in advance of the season and just not do it for anyone else.
and we can just say for 2023,
Right. And as far as for Pride is concerned, I also don't hate the idea of just opening the pool when the pool opens and letting people in for free until the end of the Pride event, and then just whoever was lucky enough and smart enough to get in, congratulations, you're in. Like,
See, I don't have an
think
issue with
that's-
that either.
I don't think that's, I mean,
Yeah.
it would encourage, hey, come to Pride and swim.
Right.
I'm afraid we'd
But it's
run
not my
into
Pride,
other,
so I really
other
shouldn't speak for
groups or
them.
people
Yeah.
trying to
But
do
yeah,
the same thing
for,
though.
for their Pride event, for the
I'm afraid we
Pride
might run
event,
into
Family
other
Fun
groups
Night,
or organizations trying to do the same
can
thing we would
accommodate
specifically for
them
Pride.
because we know those dates in advance.
But I think if we add in the little tidbit of also, and his question is, if we had someone else try, like he's saying, we're just not gonna do it, for anybody but MPCA and it was booked in advance, should we also include a line that basically says, I hear where I know exactly what you mean, but I don't know how to avoid it. If we're not letting anybody else rent it, period, why are we allowing it?
No, we're letting other people rent it, they just can't close it.
Right.
Correct, and he's saying, okay, so what happens when someone comes in of a different group
Mhm.
and says, why did you let them do it?
This was a policy that was set on January,
As long as you guys have
January
your-
23rd of 2023,
I-
and these dates were prearranged,
Okay.
and
But do
they
we wanna
have
put
been.
that in
These are
legislation?
approved.
I don't think it needs to be in
Okay.
Or
the-
even just, these are approved community events. If
Okay.
you would like your event to be here,
Have it in by January of 2024.
post it in and we will see if that is an event we want to host.
So we would-
we're updating the
We're not hosting it,
forms right now anyways, we can put it on the
That we would
rental form.
allow a use of our facilities for.
For a community organization, like, this isn't a thing that we would do for any individual, it's gotta be
Not a company,
not
not,
a
you
company,
know.
it's gotta be,
So we just need to figure out how to get that in there, cause I
well,
mean, yes, he's
I
not.
don't think that needs to be in the legislation.
Okay.
Because this is a policy decision.
No, we're going to put that you can't rent it, period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And if
yeah, and
somebody
I
comes
just
in-
think that goes on the website and goes in the rental forms, understand that we are not closing the pool.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Okay,
Problem solved.
There you go.
Alright, so now, this was not marked, but it should have been, so the early bird special then, this says 15, from March 1st through April 15. We'll change that back to 25? That's what it's been.
Say that again.
It has been
Early
25
bird has
before.
been 25.
Yeah.
This says 15.
Okay.
But since we're not doing that,
Okay.
we'll change it back. Okay.
And are we putting a deadline of X date?
It says April 15th.
Let's just see what day of the week that falls on.
I think
Only-
we looked it up
We
because
probably
of the
did.
tax. I actually
think it's
think we
Friday.
said the 17th,
Hang on,
but
because I think, I'm pretty sure.
April 15th is a Saturday.
So the question problem comes, or it doesn't, I mean, to me, it doesn't matter, as long as we have it by Monday morning, the 17th, so yeah, leave it as the 15th, and as long as we have it postmarked, or whatever, I mean, I don't think anybody's trying to be difficult,
yeah, okay.
so leave it as the 15th then,
Brian's trying to be different.
except for Brian.
Well, I was gonna say a permanent, except for the person that you were worried was gonna try to, and I've heard that worry and I understand that worry, I don't think, well, no. I was about to say, I don't think there are people out there bored and petty enough to take time to do that.
Yeah, there are.
There are.
I-
It's sad, but there are.
I think we know that there are, and so it's fine.
Number 10 in here, birthday parties, so we're adding a birthday party fee. See if, there were so many parties last year, we thought, let's see if we can get some
Yeah.
stuff off of it. So it's $150, it's for 2 hours, includes 2 adults, 10 child admissions. They get 10 ice creams, whatever flavors they want, and 10 waters for $150.
Is that a better deal than,
Yeah?
okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do the
It's a
math
better
in my
deal
head.
But
for
it gets,
showing up.
yeah,
Good.
it gets people to actually do
And
it.
it also is a great deal because then you, I mean, because if you have people who aren't members, it's $12 per person.
Yeah, so that is a bet, good. I mean,
You know
we're
what's not
running this, you know, for the
And-
people.
And it might actually be too low.
Okay.
Not
Except
that,
for we're
not that
not
I'm-
letting them have exclusivity, we're just letting them in the door
Yeah,
and
yeah,
give
yeah,
them
but if
treats.
you went
go to the corner.
to
Oh.
Jump Zone
Bowling
or
Palace.
Yeah.
Bowling Palace, it would be
It's like $15 or $20 for 2 hours or something like that at
yeah,
Bowling
ahead.
Palace.
So
So-
let's be,
so let's
so
just
let's
figure
be
it
the
out,
good
right?
example.
So right now, we have a 10 guest pass for $80,
Okay.
which we can discuss. We did not recommend a change to that, but if you want to,
No, that's fine.
Uh,
So-
if we do.
So add 2 more
20,
plus.
Yeah,
It's
So
fun.
from a mix and match from what we already have going on, it's probably about right. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
I mean,
Yeah, I like the $80 thing, cause a lot of times I personally like that, because I usually put one on file, just
Yeah.
so you
Right.
guys
Usually
know.
buy
well,
one.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
we've upped our day passes to 12, is $80 still the right number?
If you wanna buy
Maybe.
10 in advance, give them a discount, just like if you're
Here's
buying.
the
Well,
other
but
reason I
that's
don't
a-
have a problem with it, go see how many I had left, cause I think I ended up buying 2, and I think I only used 2 out of the other one, so I wasted 6.
We got
but
real close, but we didn't use all of ours, I don't
Yeah.
think.
I
This-
bought, yeah.
Number 11, I don't think we did this, I'm not sure why this is in here, but it says fees,
payments.
payments by credit card will be subject to a convenience fee as charged by our credit card company.
I
So-
hate that.
We
Yeah,
did
I
not
hate that,
do
hate that.
last year.
No,
Well,
I
then
think
let's
it's
not do
because
it this
we were
year either.
expecting something different. If we would have gone through the company, it was a lot
Yeah.
more, and we didn't do that. We ended up just using our Square.
Mhm.
So, and just a reminder that we do, anytime anybody is willing to pay with a check, we want them to pay with a check, because
Right.
there's none of those fees. But the village is the one, you have a $200 thing, you lose $10-12 right off the bat.
What's our percent? Is it 5?
No, it's only
No,
3.1,
something, yeah.
3.25, something like that.
Yeah,
That's
So,
not terrible.
it's not
It's,
horrible.
if it were 200
Are we
and
getting snow again?
104,
We're
I
supposed to
mean-
get some Tuesday night into Wednesday morning,
a
but don't worry, then it'll change to rain.
4%
So it'll
fee on
change to
$200
slush.
is $8.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's
I
not
knew we lost something.
It's not
something,
good,
but
yeah.
it's and as a consumer, when I see that I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
There's only one place where I'm not like that, and it's a super
Just to
shishi
make-
restaurant. And
Yeah, just to make sure, when you go through the site and you do put all of your stuff in, are you sure there's not a convenience fee that they charge? For some reason, I felt like there was an automatic charge of like $1.95 or something like that. As long as you're positive.
Through Square? No.
I mean, yeah, all these things,
When Barb did
So-
it through the system, however she did it,
She ran it through Square.
she did run it through Square.
And
think
she
it was-
manually put it in, which
Yeah.
cost us more.
Yes, it does, yeah.
And
Because
this
we don't have
year,
the
it
physical
will be
cards.
automated, it
Okay.
will take them right to the site.
I mean, we can change 11 from a will to a may, and then if
Okay.
it's more than
Okay.
the
I
4% that we're expecting, then
Right.
That's the answer, boom.
we can assess it.
Write that, yeah.
I mean, all these things we complain
When we
about.
get done, I have one more thing about this, and I already forgot, so keep going
Okay.
until I remember. Oh, I remember.
Alright, so that's it on the legislation part of it.
You had talked, speaking of ideas,
Yes?
you at one point, and half the reason why I hear it was to be like, about alcohol being served there.
Yep, that's on my list here.
And I was like, oh, I
So
do not
this
want us
is-
selling booze.
So this is the conversation that we had with John, cause he was at our last meeting.
Oh, good.
He's not so thrilled about it either, however, he said, I'm okay with it if we have it on select days at a certain time. So it's not open to everything,
Like as a
so
trial
it
run.
may be after 6 on Friday or,
Here's my pitch on that.
yeah,
Now, this doesn't get us any extra money. It gets us a little extra money, not a lot of extra money.
yeah,
Either Friday or Saturday night, pool closes at what, 8?
8,
8
yeah.
most night, either Friday or Saturday night, 8 to 10, 21 or over, BYOB. Memberships get in free, anyone else can pay $5, even if they're not a member. It'd just be like, I don't want a pool pass, I don't want a day pass, here's my $5, I wanna go hang out at the cocktail 2 hours on Friday night. I brought myself a bottle of wine. We don't make alcohol sales, but it means we don't have to do alcohol sales.
Right.
I think that's
And it-
that's wine and cheese
It is,
without the hors d'oeuvres.
yeah.
So one of the thoughts behind it
It is.
that if we have that ability to sell it, that should someone decide to rent the pool after hours, we would put in the contract that we have right to first refusal of selling beer and wine. That saves
Yeah.
them from having to get a license, we could potentially make some extra money off of it. You know, it's, who knows, this may not work.
Is
At all.
that okay? So I'm kind of picking up what you're putting down. Does the village take over MPCA's beer tent for family?
Doesn't have to, again,
I
we have right.
I was going to say that's a.
We have right
You know,
of
we could
first-
split. We could
first
split
refusal,
profits
so-
on it, or
Yeah.
you know, we could. Because I think that makes their life easier because getting that permit for
Is
them
a
every
pain
year
in all
is.
of our rear ends.
Yeah.
Right, they gotta run around, they gotta get chief's signature, they gotta get the mayor's signature, they gotta get it in time.
And then twice, because we usually do it wrong the first time.
Right, yeah, so, and then maybe that's a requirement for Family Fun Night, is that the village operates the beer concessions and splits revenue.
I think the biggest part behind this is, because I sent you that stuff, which you probably already had, but I sent him an email to get the basic, what do we have to do, because this has nothing to do with the DORA or anything like
Yeah.
that, this is strictly
Right.
not liquor, beer and wine, and 10 years from now, maybe you go to that level, but I think at a pool you don't. But this would be more for a trial of, let's pick on a calendar, you know, maybe 2 or 3 days each month, or, you know, whatever you
Yeah.
guys decide to do, and just see what happens. If the first 2 times it ends up being a nightmare, we call it quits, because
Yeah.
it's not worth
Right.
it's not worth the money we invested, and it's still not worth the headache.
Right.
But if it does work, then maybe August or early September, we add the football game or something along those lines. So I think it just gives us the ability, I think it was about $1,200, don't quote me on that, because there's a beer and then there's a wine, 2 different fees, that is for the year. Again, we could add a couple extra things even into September. The other thing I wanted to ask, before I forget, is opening the pool a weekend early. I don't know how that would work with John, because technically kids are not out of school, but if we worked on it now, for a resident only, and maybe that is one of the weekends that we try.
I think instead of a week
or not.
early, because that water cold.
Well, I wanted to get the
A
water in
week
there too.
late, a week.
We could do that too. I don't mind that either.
Because, you know, getting the water in a week early doesn't make it warmer any faster.
Well, I want to get the
It
pool
makes it warmer a
open.
little faster.
Here's how I'll say this. I want the pool open earlier than it typically is. There was nothing exciting about him and I and everybody else freaking out the day before when one of the other pipes burst.
Oh, yeah.
So this, getting it to the wire is not happening again this year.
Well, opening it is different than
sorry, you-
opening.
Oh, no, I'm
Setting
saying
up,
both.
setting
Oh,
up.
Yeah, I
yeah,
wanna
no,
get it
no,
set
I-
up
I
early,
don't
get
think
the water
opening-
in earlier, but then the second part is, I would love to see a resident only day, at some point, I don't care when
Yeah.
we do it.
I would, just from a pool user's perspective,
the
right? Even on Memorial Day, I jump in once.
It's freezing.
I scream because it's so cold, and then I get out
Yeah.
and I watch my kids splash until their lips turn blue, and then we go home.
Right.
But that week after Labor Day, water is still warm. That's usually some of our best weather in
Right.
Columbus.
Yeah.
Like that week after Labor Day would be
Yeah.
the good resident only.
Yeah.
At least
Again, I have no. It was just something that we had
I don't
talked
think we should have
about.
resident only times. If we're gonna sell passes, we sell passes, but that's
Yeah,
me.
and there is a precedent because it was kept open a week longer for the 75th anniversary. So it has happened in the past.
Well, and again, it doesn't even have to be for the whole week. Maybe we just do it that
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
The very next weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe there's a OSU game that we could stream. I have no idea, but it was just something that we had talked about. That I personally have talked about the resident only thing for a couple years, and we've never actually
Yeah,
done it. And
I
I think
like
it would
that.
be great. And even if we charge, if it's free, it's free. If we charge $1, I mean, I don't care what we do. And that would also
Maybe-
be a great time to
maybe
get rid
we
of the rest of the
figure out what
concessions.
We figure out what we charge and we see how well the pool did this year.
Yeah.
Right,
And if
it's
it-
$25 a person.
Right, if it's deeply in the red, maybe it's
Yeah.
not quite so
Yeah.
subsidized.
Right.
If it actually broke even, right, then we
Right.
can.
Well, but we could even do, just trying to get rid of the concessions,
Oh,
we
yeah.
could do 50% off concessions
Yeah,
that time,
absolutely.
or,
Yeah.
you know, again, free concessions until, or quarter, or
Because-
whatever.
And going back to the selling of alcohol, because Tiffany, maybe I'm the only one who heard it, said the license is gonna cost $1,200.
Correct me if I'm wrong, there's two different things, one's like 500, one is beer and one is wine.
Yeah, and together for the year, it probably is $1,200, and I'm gonna put out there, that means even if you're making $3 a drink, you're buying the drinks for $1 a piece and selling them for $4, you're selling 300 drinks to break even on the
The license.
actual license. After,
And I could be totally wrong, that's not.
I mean, you can break
It might not.
easy on that, but that's 300 drinks sold just to pay for the license, then another 100 drinks
And it was the wine.
or 200 drinks just to pay for the thing. You're looking at, like, a pilot's going to be, it's not gonna be successful. You could come to the end and say, wow, we lost $600, that probably wasn't worth it.
And maybe we just do beer the first time, cause that's White Claws, right?
Yeah, that's,
And that one was
yeah,
cheaper
that's
than the
malted,
wine.
that's
Yeah.
malted beverages
So
too.
looking at this,
And then, do we have a place to store it? Do we have a place to lock it up?
yeah. I mean, do we have it?
This is
No, we would,
manufacturer.
we'd have to carry it onto the site.
So that would be the other thing,
Okay.
whether or
We
not,
can-
yeah, the wine bottles I think would be more difficult. I mean, I would be totally fine
Yeah.
with just doing White Claws and
Yeah.
Trulies
Yeah.
and that was a lot less than the wine.
$376 for sale of beer.
Yeah.
Sale of wine and prepackaged mixed beverages on premises consumption is $564.
So it's
and
only
then there's a $100 processing fee.
So yeah, the beer is 400 with the process for something with
So,
processing.
but again,
Yeah.
MPCA did that last year. Did
Well,
they just
they
give
get,
us
they
for a
get,
year?
they
get
get
a
a
different one, so-
one-day nonprofit,
Gotcha.
you
Beer
can sell it for
only.
these 6 hours.
What does that cost them?
It was
Free.
$75.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
75?
75 because they're
so-
charging at least processing on
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I
It's
thought
like
they were-
$75, but it is just a one day.
So
It's $75 when you're making $3 beer
Yeah.
on, is the first 25 beers colored for.
$376, if we consider MPCA's usage, the two events for MPCA, plus having a couple events, and maybe even,
Only one
Is it-
event MPCA sells, Family Fun Night's the only one they
oh,
sell.
Pride, I was thinking
Right.
Pride, sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, they may wanna sell at Pride, I don't see why.
Especially since it's
Yeah.
longer.
Right,
Mhm.
I mean, and then if we get some rentals outside of it,
Yeah, it could,
Would anybody be against just doing the beer to, I'm not a wine drinker, and so it doesn't matter to me, I just feel like the wine might be more difficult with pouring with glasses.
here's the
So-
other thing too, you know, on sipping at nights, if people don't wanna bring their own
we
alcohol,
could sell it, yeah.
you know?
Yeah, beer only.
Or when they run
I
out.
would,
I wouldn't hold your breath on that helping any. If you've ever been to those people bring their stuff, they bring lots, they bring
Yeah.
enough to share.
Yeah,
the,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm, so, if the, so
Make
A,
you work
wine
a
is
lot better.
complicated because
Yeah.
wine drinkers drink the wine that they like and
Right.
nothing else.
I do, I feel like that would be more.
I think that beer, especially if it covers like the hard seltzers, and double a special, but I doubt it if it covered hard cider, right? You could probably nearly cover the spectrum of people who wanted a drink or two.
Right.
Yeah.
With
So I
it.
think that's really what we're gearing towards, and there would be some logistics to it. We had even talked about, if there is a big concern, maybe they have to get tickets or something along that, $5 tickets, and you can only get 2 or 3 per person, or and again, I'm just saying maybe if it became a problem, that's what they do at weddings. You get 3 tickets or 2 tickets or something like that you pay for, and again, I think if there's a will, there's a way that obviously they'll take their cousins or their brothers, and I get it.
Yeah.
But in average,
Oh.
the normal person is.
There's a D4 license for $469, beer and any intoxicating liquor to members only on premises, so sales only to members. But
You said it's D4?
D4.
I don't see that on here, on this application.
It's
Well,
because he told us that's what we needed in order to do it.
Yeah,
And I
I'm
wonder-
looking at com.ohio.gov.
Okay.
And it might be
Divisions.
because we are, and I agree, I hear what he's saying, but I wonder if he's not giving us that option because we are not a members only place.
Right.
And could
Yeah.
somebody technically,
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't,
Could be.
but that would be a question
It
we
was
could
just an
ask.
interesting, another thing I saw.
But we can ask.
Because we're not a members only place.
Right. Well, doesn't that just depend on how you define member? If you bought a day pass, you're a member for the day.
It's true.
If you're
Yeah,
in,
you have
if you're
to-
in the space, you've done
you,
a thing
you
to
have
make
to
yourself a
though
member.
then still have them fill out a thing, a membership thing.
Yeah.
And I know that for reasons that I'm not gonna
Take-
say on.
Right, you take you're right, we take your name, take your
Yeah.
name and address
Yeah,
when you sell a day pass.
So we do take their name, we don't take their address, we take their name.
I don't know, just a thought.
So I think, is there a complete against it? I think we could all talk about this all
I
night.
mean, I can,
or is it
I
tribal?
can go with whatever you want, I'm just officially completely against selling alcohol. I am not against it enough that I would stop the rest of the pool thing, I just don't think it's something we should be in.
Well, it's not anything we're putting into the fees
No.
ordinance,
Yeah,
right? This
okay.
is just a policy discussion.
No, it's
Yeah.
whether or not we want to
Yeah.
go ahead and fill out the application and get that ball rolling and spend the money to do that, because obviously, I mean, I'm gonna say this, I would prefer to get, I don't know who has to sign the forms, I don't know what all we need to do, get it to legal, make sure they're okay with
Oh,
it.
Yeah.
I would say I would wanna get the paperwork rolling, so maybe if we do like a yay or nay on Thursday, if everybody's okay with at least filling out the paperwork and seeing what happens.
Yeah, so from a outlay perspective, if we're talking just the beer only license,
Is everybody, okay?
It's-
Are you okay with it?
yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's worth a trial balloon, right? Is there demand, right? If there is demand and half the people say, thanks for the beer, but what I really wanted was a Tom Collins, then we can
Look at that.
plan for next year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm okay with it as long as, John and his people think
Yeah.
it's feasible.
You were at that.
I know.
And I think as long as and maybe we, again, that might be a next meeting or a you and me conversation and whoever else, and send an email around, deciding what days and what,
Yeah.
is it, I mean, Saturdays is typically people's party days, is that a bad day to do it? I mean, it's a good day for money, but do we start out slow and do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Right.
So, again,
Have
I'm,
a
So,
happy
or
hour
just
at the
Saturday
pool.
and Sunday.
yeah,
Are we allowed, I think that was my other question in that paperwork, Sunday. Are we allowed to sell on Sunday
Beer
because,
well, so hold on the page I'm looking at, there is a separate section for Sunday
That's what I wondered.
sales.
because even Target has a sign that they can't sell stuff on
Intoxicating
Sunday.
liquor on Sunday for the same sales privileges, any location option that might, if not required, note, not required if just selling beer, however, local option election laws may still restrict beer sales on Sunday. So, it does not, from not our attorney reading of the details on Sunday sales, if we're just talking beer, it doesn't seem to be the case.
And does anybody know anything does anybody remember them bringing up the whole Westerville being dry and us passing legislation to saying that we were does anybody have any idea what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay.
But Westerville's not dry.
Not anymore.
But it was 15 years ago.
Yes, it was, and I believe it was Carrie that brought this to our attention, and we need to double check some stuff with
Terry
her.
was talking to us about Fiesta Jalisco and something, that was
Okay.
also a liquor permit, so.
That might have been what,
Yeah.
okay, so we should be fine.
Yeah, because she was looking at it for MPCA,
Yeah.
Family Fun Night.
I mean, if
Okay.
we're, we know that they've issued temporary permits for
Yes, they
the
have.
pool,
So we
right?
should be
So
So,
I think that's straight up a non-issue.
Okay,
so do we need to vote on it in a meeting?
I don't
or-
think so, this is just a policy position.
no, I
right?
think it's just as long as you guys are okay with me spending
And
the
the-
$500.
And the money is, she's not entering it, we're not entering into a contract,
Right.
and the money is small enough that there's no
Okay.
additional appropriation necessary, I don't see any.
If we get denied, we get denied.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay,
I think that was a yes, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, alright, thank you all.
No for me, but I'll do it.
and then everybody's okay if we can get John to do it or figure out, maybe it's a swim at your own risk, I hate to say that, but everybody's okay if we try to do a resident only, because it'd be nice to
Yeah,
let residents know that early on.
yes, for a
Um,
D1 permit.
Yes, do you want, yeah. Correct, yeah. Okay, slide, I have all this stuff for us to do the application, so
Okay.
I'm gonna do it today,
Okay,
before I leave tonight.
and have you heard from them?
Nope.
Because I've reached out to every single person in Franklin County now when we had to do the whole COVID stuff, and not one person has gotten back to
Oh,
me.
this
Yeah.
is because it needs to be inspected, is that?
Yeah, we have to fill out a permit and, yeah, the whole thing,
Mhm.
so, as far as I can tell, yeah.
All right, everyone, I was here mostly for the fees and then the booze
Yeah,
discussion.
go
The
for it.
slide, I assume the committee can take care of that.
Okay.
It is not my committee, so thank you for allowing me to sit in and voice my opinions.
I have one more question before you leave, because this had to do with you too.
Oh,
For the agenda, because I just wanna make sure that we write it in there the way that we want. Are we interviewing them in executive session, or are we going to let them speak for their 5 minutes in public? Or are we actually going to physically take one in out of, how do you guys wanna construct it so I can put it on the agenda? What is your guys' vision for the 3 people? And I need to make sure that they're all available.
my vision would be to give them actually 3 minutes to make their statement, and then we go back and talk about them.
In executive session.
So
I'd
do you
like
wanna be able to
I
ask
would,
questions?
Well-
so my preference would be to adjourn to executive session
Okay,
and invite them in one by one,
okay,
so that we can have a conversation with each one individually,
okay,
right? And then we will hold a little more executive session as we deliberate,
okay.
and then we would adjourn from executive session and make a single motion. You would, I forget exactly how it's worded, whether you make a recommendation and we move to accept your recommendation, or
Make
if
sure Jesse's
we,
there, yeah.
or if we just make a motion to appoint such and such, and we just have one name and one vote on that name. And we should try our best to come out of executive session understanding
Who we're voting for.
who that's on.
I like the being back there and talking to them. Here's why I think if we can do that, we can still give 3 of them 3 minutes, it'll take us 10 minutes to do. I think if they're interested in taking over, and they have, maybe I'm not gonna take over, but I'll run in the fall, it sounds weird, but let them all get 3 free minutes on the record to say why they want it. And have that, just as like, hey, you didn't get chosen, but you got your first 3 minutes to start your campaign for the fall. I don't know, it's me being a little overly nice to them maybe, but it's like, okay guys, make your pitch, people at home can hear what you had to say, and then we can go in the back room and make the decision.
I actually think that'll do some of them more harm than good,
Ah,
but I don't care that much, right? It's 10 minutes, so.
I mean, we can give them the opportunity if they wanna talk on record, maybe
Yeah.
we just do that, give them,
Yeah.
you can each have up to 3 minutes if there's something you wanna say.
yeah, I don't think we
For
have
the
to tell them
record.
they have to do it.
No,
Right.
but yeah, let's offer it to them.
Yeah.
The last part to that is, and I don't care if you guys make the decision later, do not forget, I do not have to be in there. You guys have to tell me who is going to be in there because this is for council.
Yeah,
So I
it'll-
always do like to point that out,
We
that
need to invite in
who you want.
who we want.
So
to
you guys just be
use
prepared to do
executive
that.
session.
I don't have any skin in the game.
And here's if we bring people back and ask them questions, and Jesse can say whether this is true or not, we might have to ask them all the same questions.
No. Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's interesting, this is.
I know when you're screening political candidates for endorsements, you have to ask the same questions
This
to
is
every candidate.
Different beast.
This is a different beast, I'm just saying that's all I knew.
Yep, no,
This is very different than the way they did it with me, because you guys just had
And you
me
can
and.
invite Jesse
Well,
into it.
that's because the council at that time was deathly opposed to executive sessions, because everything needs to be done in the antiseptic of the sunlight.
Yeah.
And quite honestly,
That was a very good quote, or a very good vocal.
But quite honestly, no, everything, when you're saying, well, I really don't like this person because I hear that they did this or that, you don't want that.
Right.
And then you can't say
I don't
that,
think we
then
have
you
it
can't
yet.
say your real opinion.
Maybe.
That's true. Again, I think that the deliberation should be done in executive session, I guess. I definitely, how we do it, if they want to do it publicly, if they want to do it one by one, I don't care either way, but I
So-
definitely think we should
so to
deliberate
answer the
in.
question, the agenda should probably read something like, 3-minute candidate statements, adjourn to executive
Optional or
session.
something like that,
And we'll
yeah.
explain in the meeting
Okay.
that we are intending
I
to
didn't want you
do
to think
this.
we were
Yes.
ignoring
Oh,
that
no,
part.
no,
When
no,
you
no,
asked
no,
that, I
no,
was
no,
like,
not
are we
at
on the
all.
same page? So I just wanted to make
I was
sure.
just thinking, let them give their spiel publicly.
Okay.
And I don't, as I say, maybe it's just being too nice, like, hey, let them, if they're interested enough to whatever, give them 3 minutes to
When-
speak. And they can come at any time, and the other thing, they don't have to, they could just do,
Right.
well, citizens' comments come afterwards, so.
When we appointed Scott Hansen to council on my first rodeo, we had 2 or 3 people that time around, and we did no public statements. We brought them in individually, asked them questions in executive session, deliberated, and moved on. But different council, different appetites.
No, again, I just wanted to make sure before you left that we were on the same
Yeah.
page, because I don't wanna, and then just, if you want Jesse in there, whoever you guys want in there, just make sure you guys do
Alright,
that.
definitely Jesse, and I think that would be about all.
All right.
Alright, I told the wife I was already back, interested enough to watch last night's episode of The Witches.
Alright, have a good night. See you
Bye.
Thursday.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya Thursday, everyone,
Yep.
Susan.
Oh, 6:15. Good thing you said that.
Yeah, for
Legislation. Do we have anything we're talking about?
I need to catch up with Jesse about my anti-inflation thing, because I know he said he was going to work on it.
Alright, slide, I'm gonna give you all the
Yes.
stuff. Again, he has not responded to me,
Me
I
either.
figured if we pay our application and put it in, then
They'll
they'll
have
have
to
no
look at it.
choice to talk to us, right?
Okay.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
I'd
I
rather
reached out to
know
him
now.
Thursday or whatever day it was, the very next day I sent an email, which it's only Monday.
Yeah,
But
well,
I
I
did it
sent
first
one
thing.
on December 12th,
Okay, well, I sent one,
so, and I have not heard anything.
I sent one first thing Friday morning
Yeah.
and haven't gotten a response, Friday or Monday.
Alright, that's all the pool stuff I have. Was there anything else? No, I don't think so.
Do you know if Rick West finished?
I don't.
Okay.
Landscape, so the only thing I wanna talk about landscape is that Lisa reached out to me about getting more trees. And I totally forgot that I was gonna try to meet her at 10 o'clock this morning to walk the grounds and, with whoever came out to help walk the grounds with her. But she wants to know, hey, I need to order them now. I think she said they come in sets of 50 or
Yeah.
something like that, and how many do we want, so. Just
A
bring
lot.
it up
As
for
long as
everyone's
we have good
knowledge.
places to put them,
Yeah.
and
As
they're
many as
not
we can.
super expensive, and as
Right.
long as
They're
they're
fair, that's
They're
fine.
free.
native trees, then
We have like 4 different kinds typically, something along those lines, and the last time we just kinda got like a 50 of each one or 50 of like 3 different ones, and
That's
then she had a
fine.
group of people go out,
Yeah,
volunteers, and she put little flags out, that's what those flags were for, the village ordered flags, so she could go do that. I don't know if we still have flags, or we would order her more flags, and then
Sure,
whoever wanted to
they're pretty
volunteer to
cheap,
do it, yeah, they're $20.
yeah, so just, that's more for awareness.
I'm never gonna oppose trees in tree appropriate places.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And there are plenty of
And free, yeah.
places where trees are not appropriate. I don't want to get
Yeah.
anybody confused with me that way.
Last item I had to talk about tonight were the fountain, or the ponds, the fountains, all that type of stuff. I believe.
I've
you
already sent
reached
the email,
out to
first thing
them.
Friday morning I
And-
went in and I sent both of those 2 emails.
Yeah,
My email basically just stated that we are ready to move forward, to get me an updated price, if the prices have changed, give me that, I need the full vote of
right,
what it is to elect from beginning to end, I want them up and running.
yeah.
So as soon as I get that, I will forward it to everybody.
Fountains or bubblers?
all of the above, so.
The pricing was for everything, and then
Okay.
we just have to pick and choose what
Got
we
it.
want.
Yeah, so
one
let's
of-
get the information and
I
make
think we
choices.
approved up to the high end of everything,
Okay.
and so, yeah, we'll just have to choose from the menu and decide what
Right.
we wanna do.
I think one of the lakes we had talked about that would be great for fountains, one of the lakes is too, not deep
The
enough for
Pond
certain
Lake, I
things,
think,
yeah.
is the one
So
that-
there was certain
Yeah.
ones that they recommended we do X. And that was kind of where we were gonna go with that. Like the one that was up high, the one where you go up the hill that's right across the
one
street
by
from
the-
you.
Yeah,
Those ones would be good for fountains because they're, you can actually see them
Yeah.
and you can
There's
see
a
them as you
bunch of
drive
them,
around.
yeah.
The aeration and water mobility would decrease mosquitoes as well.
That's what we're-
And it would help with the water quality.
And he also recommended getting, and I'm only saying this because we're here, the clover at the pool,
oh, yeah.
where I've already reached out also, we have not heard back from anybody, but Friday morning we did the boom, 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 we went through everything that we knew we wanted to do.
Just
Boom, boom, boom.
because of the,
Getting stung
Bees.
multiple
Oh, I know.
times.
and we're not gonna touch the fields outside the
No.
fence, we just wanna do it inside.
I'm not doing anywhere else in the
The
village at
pool.
this point, it is just the pool.
Yeah, just to keep the bees
Yeah.
under control.
You don't see any tears.
Yeah, I know. Oh, after getting stuck wedding day and the
Yeah.
first week and there were days that were worse than others, that's for sure. But yes, we will make sure that that gets done this year.
Not gonna discuss basketball court shelter or anything like that, I think
It's,
we already have that in legislation, so
So
we'll
are
discuss
we,
it then.
alright. that's
Something
fine.
can I say about
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
don't think,
If there's
I
no
don't think you
new
can add-
thoughts or opinions.
basically,
then
here's,
that's fine.
like I said, I'm bringing it to you guys, I'm tired of talking about it, tired of dealing
Yeah.
with it. You guys are gonna vote on it, we're either going to get it out to bid and that's when we're gonna get the design, the final designs and all of these things, and then this is what we're either moving, you guys are gonna give me authorization to do all that,
I
or
am
not.
down for that.
yeah,
something that I'll say
We-
is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would just say we shouldn't untable it at Thursday's meeting. We should untable it, the first.
No, it's not tabled, we're
It's
on
not
third
tabled?
reading.
Oh, we're on-
We're on third, not this Thursday, its second reading is Thursday.
Okay,
yeah.
It's
Oh,
getting
okay.
voted for the
Well, good.
first of the
Good,
first
that's
meeting in
perfect.
February.
that's perfect. So we should have some discussion at the work session just to
This is-
refresh and to bring the new council person up to speed.
Correct.
So that they're not voting in the dark.
Yeah.
Or abstaining or something like that, because
Yeah.
they don't know or don't understand, and
Yeah.
it could be any of them, so,
Well, better not be.
Not yet.
I know that this committee is supposed to be working on this, but right now I kind of put a pin in it, is, for the amphitheater space.
Mhm.
I mean, at this point, I don't know if we even have more work scheduled for the amphitheater to be done, so.
I thought
if
there was
it's not-
decking or something.
that is
we
next, yeah.
Talked about it, and we saw some pictures, but I
Yeah.
don't know if we ever said
So we should-
definitely this is it, and
I thought we had made a choice. I remember we had
all
options in
gave
front of
them-
us,
yeah.
and we made a choice.
There's
I
the
remember
electrical
making a
stuff,
choice.
the only thing I'm going to say is there is, the discussion whether or not it needs put out to bid, because there are still a couple large things that are over $50,000, which technically means it needs to be put out to bid. If you piece it together, you're piecing it together. So internally, there's just some discussion.
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
Well, I just kind of, if it's done before Arts in the Park, I would probably use that as the temperature check of the noise volume
Oh, yeah.
with the neighborhood.
that's a great-
You know,
Good
just
idea.
use that stage for Arts in the Park and just kind of see what
Well,
happens.
bring that up,
Yeah.
make yourself a note to re-bring
Yeah.
that up at the next work session.
Okay,
So we can also, that gives us a June deadline
Mhm.
of, I mean, it could be done
We
easily
could-
before June if we get our butts in gear.
We could set up all the vendors on that walkway across, on the dam,
Right,
and have the people doing music do it in
that'd be great.
do it on the stage.
yeah,
And that seems like a delightful little
Yeah.
space and
Yeah.
a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And actually, even Thursday night and old business, new business, just getting that back in the, we need to make sure that whatever we're doing, if it needs put out to bid,
We
it
need
needs
to
put
move
out to bid in
forward.
February.
Yes.
Something else we need to consider, and I was going back a little bit with the shelter, when we do, likely look at designs from the bids, then I really think we need to focus on making sure that there is a nice, sound or noise or visual barrier of some kind, so that we can at least, do the
next
best we,
November.
yeah, for the next door neighbors, the best we
I have a
can
work session,
anyway.
right, before
Yeah.
we do the final vote, hopefully we can kind of talk through some
Yeah.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I have actually sat down with them. I met with them to discuss what that would look like and what their requests would be, in the event that it does move forward. So we would have, I think the other part to that is I think we would have plenty of time because nobody's gonna come and do this like right away. It's gonna go out to bid. In the event you guys even pass it in February, we're not passing it as an emergency. So I can't even do anything until mid-March unless you guys decide to pass it as emergency. That's on you
I
guys.
can't imagine
I'll
that
propose it.
happening.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you guys are already
Look,
on borrowed
there's no
time.
reason not to, right?
Well, again, that's gonna be left up to you guys. Again, I don't know if you're, which way.
If we don't, it only allows people the opportunity to crap on it.
Yeah.
Well-
I'm going to propose it.
And I would tell you that not even being able to start on it until mid-March, I can't even get it ready to bid, which is going to be another 30 days is mid-April. And that's if we actually turn it all around. Mike's not gonna turn it around.
Yeah.
You're talking at least June or July before we even get that done. You're not gonna get somebody putting it up in October, November.
We have that big software now, don't we though?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, but that makes
has
the
to-
receiving them easier, but it doesn't
The
stop the
requirements are still like
engineering works.
22 days, but you still have to get the documents to put uploaded, and I
Yeah.
can't technically have him work
Yeah,
on it
we-
until,
The justification is that we would like to have an amphitheater, not an amphitheater, a shelter there sooner rather than later.
Right.
I'm tired
Again,
of
that's on
people,
you, that
people
is.
arguing about, we need to take forever to have nice things. That's, okay.
Well, let's do it.
And then I wanted to talk to you about getting the other Square reader, or the Square stuff moving along, in the next, just get it ordered so we can just make sure that it is ready to go for pool season,
Yep.
and we're not scrambling, and everybody's trying to figure out how to do this in May.
Absolutely.
Upload all the fees and do, so I was, yeah.
That seems great.
All right, move to adjourn?
Yeah, let's do it.
Move to adjourn? Yeah,
That's fine.
let's do it.
All right.
Thank you, guys.